Blurry again.
Live.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, as I am blurry once again, it's all good. Welcome. It is December 1st, the last month of the year, closing up shop, getting rid of the negative and bringing in the positive. We got a great show for you. And to here, we have Adam, the host of Mental Health Warriors. Andrea, unfortunately, cannot be with us today. And we have our special guest, Charles. Charles, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, no, honor is all ours. So,
Yeah.
Adam, let's kick it off, man. Let's go.
Let's go. Obviously, we'll keep it brief. Obviously, I've just had notification that it's not going on one of the platforms. That's due to me being on a Facebook ban. Okay,
Nice.
one of them.
Excellent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good start.
Yeah.
Good start.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's all right. It's only been 28. It's only 28 days.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, banned from Facebook. There you go.
That's nothing. That's nothing for me. But anyway,
Wow.
yes, it's December the 1st. We are literally 30 days away from 2024. And
Yeah.
how is everyone? What has everyone been up to?
I'm good. I'm good. I just been traveling and working on my new shows, and I just built my house in Costa Rica, so been going back and forth there all the time, and life is all right, man. You know, it's all right. You know, one day at a time. That's it. You know.
One day at a time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 And I've actually started reading a book by Dr. Joseph Murphy. It's called
Okay.
The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I love
Okay.
it. I'm only on chapter 2 right now, and I'm loving it already.
Okay. Okay. I love that. I love that. And it's been a while, and you guys look like you're still rocking and rolling, which is fantastic, and taking it up with different hosts and or guest hosts and things like that. So I'm proud of you for continuing your journey to reaching and changing lives. You know.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I've literally just come off a call and I've just booked our next guest, which is booked
Uh-huh.
for the second week of September next year.
Okay.
I'm booking for the
Nice.
year. I'm
Nice.
booking for the year.
Yeah. There you go.
With a
There
little
you go. And I've
nudge.
got.
With a little nudge to
There
get
there
it
you
done.
go.
Yes.
And
So
I've got some good
yeah.
guests if you need some great experts that
Oh
I
yeah.
work with that
Absolutely.
are in the mental health space to send you away to as well.
Brilliant. Thanks for that,
Awesome.
Charles. So Andrea,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's great that you're here. We are
Thank you.
back after having a week off.
Yes.
So how's your Thanksgiving been? And
Well, my Thanksgiving, let's just say I ate my body weight in food. After
All right.
being grinding and, just putting the pedal to the metal with all my work, I haven't been able to eat as much during the day because, when you get in that zone, you don't want to, misdirect or go aside or astray because you got that focus, you got that motivation, that momentum. Well, on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving here in the States, I just sat back, relaxed, enjoys an amazing Thanksgiving feast of a fine Italian cuisine with the family. So it was all good. So it took me about a day or two to recover, and I'm back in action. And how
uh,
about you? Tell about
I've,
what happened and why it occurred for the first time in UK for you. How did that all sprout?
well, oh, here we go. Here we go. Self-promoting. That's why I love this woman because she actually that was a challenge
Mm-hmm.
to basically celebrate Thanksgiving for the very first time because the UK don't celebrate it at all. We don't.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
clearly an
No.
American
No. No.
tradition, but we thought, you know what, we did
Yeah.
it. Yeah, we hit some rocky times that weekend. We did, where obviously with the kids, but it's all right. We bought a board game. We played that a few times. The kids beat us every time, which let's not get into that. We had a great dinner, which I was cooking for about
Yeah.
3 hours, so it's all good, all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. How about
Love
you,
it. Love
Charles?
it.
What
Love
about
it.
you?
Love it.
What'd you do?
I was in Costa Rica, and it's interesting that they actually they celebrate. It's a day now in Costa Rica as well. That
There you go.
so went over some friend's house. Some expats out in Costa Rica because it's a lot of expats in Costa Rica, and just tried not to eat too much, but and I really didn't because they were serving these plates, and man, and usually you go and get your own plate or whatever, but they were just, I guess they put the plate together and they're bringing these plates over, and I'm like, no man, no. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I ate a couple of bites, and that was it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good. But
well,
it's all about the presentation, about making sure everybody gets equal amount and just be grateful. That's the heart, and that we have
There you
lost the
go.
essence of Thanksgiving. So grateful
yeah,
that each and every one of us had the opportunity with family, good fare, and good times. That's what it's about, just the kickoff of the holiday season.
yeah. And the
There you
reason
go.
we're bringing up about mindset and food and stuff like that because it ties into what we're going to be talking about tonight, and
Yes.
that is the unhealthy mind of living with an addiction, which obviously Charles is rightfully wanting to talk about food addiction, which
Oh
we
wow.
all experience. Which
Interesting.
oh, there he is. He's gone. He's probably
Yeah.
just gone under a bridge or something.
Yeah.
So Charles, kick us off with what inspired you to come up with this title.
The title of what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously, food is thy medicine, and medicine is thy food. And what we eat is really key to, not only our health, but our mental health and our state of mind. I mean, when you think about it, there are a lot of people who did overeat during these holidays, and they're facing a crisis of weight loss, or maybe even not feeling good about their bodies, and they need to address that. And we know that what we look like can affect our mental health. I know that I suffer from food addiction myself. I'm not per se overweight or anything like that, but it's been something that is been a health crisis for me in many ways, and even a mental health crisis in many ways, because I've had just like any food addiction or drug addiction. It's all the same, and they actually say that food addiction is just as strong as any narcotic that someone might be taking, as far as cocaine and methamphetamines and things of that nature. And it's a reality. I mean, I've had times where I've literally ran out in the middle of the night and headed to buy some McDonald's and all kind of things. And that up and down spiral not only hurts your health, but mental health is your mental health is in turmoil too as well, because you're in a position where you can't stop and you can't control your actions. So a lot of people are dealing with that, and they're taking all kind of new products that are on the market right now, and up and down yo-yos as far as mental health, because they're not just dealing with the weight loss side of things, but the feeling of hopelessness, and trying to fight something that once again is so addictive, but also tastes so good, right? We all love food, and we wake up in the morning thinking about food. We go to bed at night thinking about food, right? We even at night we think about what we're going to make tomorrow, right? What we're going to wake up in the morning and eat. As soon as we eat that, we're wondering about lunch and then dinner, and so it's definitely a challenging topic, and something that we need to really focus on and also come to grips with. I think that it took me many years to realize I was addicted to food, and even I recall, because I make very big television shows that are based on health, and I would say a couple of months ago, I was in a challenging situation as well, because here I'm making shows that show people how to live their best life and stay healthy, and working with all of these major experts, and found myself in the middle of running out in the middle of the night and doing the same thing. And I wanted to get online and talk about it, right? Because we have a big presence on our reverse television series, Instagram, and I couldn't pull myself to do it. I was ashamed, because I'm like, here I am telling people how to eat and showing people how to live healthier lives, and I'm addicted to food, and running out in the middle of the night and doing things that I'm telling them not to do. And so it was an awakening for sure, to be able to come to that grips. And like I said, I never realized I was addicted to food, and I think that there are millions of us who are addicted to food, and we don't realize that. We don't even have a clue that it's an addiction. We just, don't even look at it as that, and we really do, because I see too many people in the line of work that we do who literally lose their life every day because of what they eat. When we talk about our television shows on diabetes, diabetes takes more lives than AIDS and cancer combined. It's the number one cause of blindness, number one cause of amputation, number one cause of dialysis, and the list goes on. And this all is all about mental health. It's being able to have willpower and self-control and discipline, and that is something that weighs heavily on someone's psyche and mental health. So it's a serious thing, and once again, once you are able to get that under control, it can be a beautiful thing, right? Because not only can you change your body, you can change how you feel about yourself. You can change your health outcomes in a few different ways, right? And that discipline and that self-discipline is a key to everything. To be honest with you, it can be a key to your future in many different ways, not just physical, but mental. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people go on these trends, especially the holiday season, of, oh, well, I can't get outside, based on their location because it's cold out, it's snowing, it's raining, the temperature drops, and so forth. Then you have the other extremists. It's too hot outside because I need, I'm going to, have to carry a bottle of water. I need constant hydration. But in the essence of wellness and holistic practices, homeopathic practices, and nutrition, I was in the industry for some time right before the world changed. It's a lifestyle. It's not a fix, because a lot of people, I'll go on a diet. I know so many people that say, oh, I'm gonna lose weight 6 months. Then in 3 months in, oh, well, something happened. Or they'll make the 6 months and then they'll go back to their own ways. Well, it's the winter time, the holidays are coming, and so forth. And it's just a matter of, I say this all the time, excuses sound best to those who create them. And it's like, when you have the mindset, the self-awareness, the self-discovery to make that mind shift, then you take the initiative and steps to invest. And then after you do that, you create your environment. After that, you get to empowerment. Then you go to discipline. Then you go to, what it looks like of application, and then mastery. Those are all the sequential steps that it takes for a transformation in your life. And you are right, Charles, that, people mistake food as I'm hungry or I'm not hungry, whatever, which way it is. But when they do consume food, for some, it's self-soothing. It's that nurturance, whether it's that sweet tooth or that savory bite, or that consumption of feeling satisfied and feeling full. But at the same token, you have to look at the other side of the coin of the repercussions, the future, the down, moving the needle towards a negative way if you don't shift your behaviors. It's a habit. What I coach, what I coach, it's 21 to 31 days to create a habitual ritual. but it requires discipline. And a lot of individuals today, we are creatures of comfort and we don't shift away from change. We fear change. Oh, well, my family has it. And what I've learned to kind of shock people in my practice of, wellness, nutrition, homeopathic and holistic conditions is, oh, well, my mother, my father have, high blood pressure or diabetes. And then if you really go under the microscope, it's not hereditary. It's the customs, the systems that your mom cooked that way because her mom cooked that way because her mom cooked that way, or father. And it's, yes, exactly, like Adam said, it's a continuous cycle until you get the education, awareness, and knowledge. All right, that's what we had. How can we modify it to extend longevity and health and wellness for the mental, mind, body, spirit, and soul?
Absolutely. And I want to share as well that pick up on what you actually said, Andrea, to the fact that I can't go out because it's too cold, or I don't want to go out because it's too hot. I've learned from reading this book, this is the best book I've ever read, is we ourselves are creating that energy ourselves. Because if we're saying all these negative stuffs, I can't do this, can't do that, I can't, you're full of excuses. And you are creating that negative energy yourself. And do you know what? I actually shared a post yesterday surrounding about fear and choice. If you want me to share it.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. It says, if you want to change external conditions, you must change the cause. Most people try to change conditions and circumstances. This is a terrible waste of time and effort. They fail to see that their conditions flow from the cause. To remove discord, confusion, lack, and limitation from your life, you must remove the cause. That cause is the way you use your conscious mind, the thoughts and images you encourage in it. Change the cause and you change the effect.
Yeah. Basically, you have a choice.
Exactly. Because no one's forcing all this down here. And I admit I'm guilty of being the comfort eater. I admit I've been shouted at many times from Andrea about it. But either way, I've made that decision. And I made it even before Christmas that I'm changing my lifestyle. And I'm showing the evidence of it with the long hair. Yeah. And I'm even going to be buying my new coat tomorrow, which I thought I'd never buy. I'm actually going to be buying a trench coat.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm going for it.
Yeah.
I'm going for it.
So Charles, what would you say that in the midst of transformation these days, because the world is upside down. I literally am the poster child of living under a rock. You can ask Adam. I don't even know what day it is. I don't know what's going on. I am so zoned in networking and my business, my passion, and so forth that I choose to unplug, So what would you say to individuals watching or on the playback? What would be, two-part question, what would be the drive? And what would be the distraction that you encountered in your journey thus far?
I would say the drive is a few different things. Number one, I think, and I'm about to park too as well, so I'll be able to have some some control over here. Okay. But I want to say the drive is even a bit of vanity. And when I say that is because we all went to school with some people that we look at and we see them maybe on Facebook and we're like, what on earth happened to that person? Right? And they look 20 years older than what they are. They're 40, 50, 60 pounds heavier than what they should be. And I remember when I was first diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I looked in the mirror. And while I was going to the gym all the time, I wasn't doing cardio. And I remember saying to myself that I needed to make a change, uh, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And, and I looked into that physical mirror and said, brother, what is going on? And at that moment, I stopped going to the gym and I started to incorporate cardio. So I did cardio 3, 4 times a day. And literally within 30 days, 40 days, I probably lost like 20 pounds and threw out a bunch of clothes that were way too big for me. And so it was that vanity where I was like, man, I should be looking like I was when I was in high school. You know, I should be able to, if we can't pick up a basketball right now and go and play some good ball with our kids or with some friends or pick up a football and go and play some football or soccer ball and go and have a good, there's something wrong.
Yes.
There's something wrong.
Absolutely.
And we have to push ourselves to that. And I found myself doing that. Now, of course, we're going to be slower than we were, right? I mean, I remember, about maybe about 9, 10 months ago, my daughter who's in track, who's 13 now, I'm showing her because I was the fastest kid in my school. And here I'm showing her some techniques and she's about to lap me. And I'm like, hold on now. But I have to
Yes.
realize that I'm not that anymore. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? But still, we should be able to do that. And there's plenty of us right now that can't run a block, that can't play basketball, can't play soccer or football, can't do any physical activities. And if you look at that, that's a recipe for disaster. That is saying that, listen, I'm your health span is going to be cut tremendously in half, and also your quality of life, right? So that was another thing too as well, right? Quality of life. I don't want to live 80, 90 years sickly, and I think people don't realize. And also when you talk about that motivation, it's because I have children. I want to be able to see these kids grow old. I want to be able to be there for this ride, not die because of high blood pressure or cholesterol or high blood sugars. And I think that people don't realize how powerful of a drug and a tool that food actually is. And because once again, every day somebody is dying from complications of poor health choices, whether it's what we eat, what we drink. You look at some parts of the world, and they drink soda before they drink water. You have people who think juice is better than soda, so they drink juices. You have people who, fast foods have become a part of our daily life. And people aren't cooking as much, and just relying on the McDonald's and the Burger Kings and the Subways and you name it. So, the motivation is to live a longer, healthy life, but also to be there for others, because I have a purpose. My purpose is to touch other lives through my television shows. I feel like I'm the Martin Luther King of what I do, because there's nobody doing what I do as far as the health-related television shows. So, I need to set that example, but I also need to be there, and continue to make this dream come alive.
So that's
Yeah.
that's the direction, that's the drive. So to kind
Yeah.
of add a mile, like kind of, support that in that, as fast food is as fast as it takes your life away. It's convenient, instant gratification, instant satisfaction, but the longevity of it is quite fearful when you really look at the stats. And I don't know about other parts of the world, but I know with America, I mean, we have a huge concern for obesity, and
Yeah.
like you had talked about
Yeah.
diabetes, type A, type B, and rehabilitation, amputation, and so on and so forth. And we don't everybody looks at sugar as being sugar of a white substance or being labeled in the ingredients, but anything with sucrose, fructose, any of those artificial flavorings, if it's not able to say orange, blueberry, or something in the label and use these other scientific terms, then you're not truly getting the essence of what Mother Earth is giving you. The everything that you need that to help you process, digest. I mean, if we look at our chemical makeup, even to go something as simple as our our denture, like our teeth, they're not made to eat meat, really, if you think about it. And if it is, it's lean grass-fed meat, if that. But if we look going back, I saw a documentary this weekend actually about the largest concern of the extinction of salmon for the indigenous people. And there was a place in the States where there's 5 dams blocking the pathway for the salmon to procreate and come back and, be provided for the individuals of the world. But they were saying the indigenous people are now getting sick with high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and concerns of their functioning because they're used to being scavengers and foragers, and hunting and moving all around, where now everybody's two-dimensional behind a screen or hybrid, sitting and then maybe barely getting 1,000 steps or 3,000 steps, if that, and so that I want to pass it to Adam to kind of piggyback on what you said, and then we'll go to the other part of the question was, what was the difficult distraction for you? Because you did talk about the drive of being your family, being the, face of change and wellness with your health and lifestyle of nutrition. So yeah, Adam, go ahead.
Absolutely. I'm actually just reading Sarah Kuda's comments here, which are absolutely brilliant. Obviously, she's brought about the parasitic cleansers are great to look into. Then obviously she just put this long one as well. They've robbed our food of the vital nutrients, even the healthy food. Yeah, just all that.
Yeah,
which I think is brilliant.
Well, parasite cleanse is not necessarily necessary unless you really have parasites, and most of us don't have parasites. As much as people would like to believe that they might, and it might sound good and sound cute and all that kind of stuff like that.
Fear factor.
It's most of us don't have parasites. I mean, unless you live in third world countries, unless you are maybe consuming certain things, eating a lot of raw, if you're eating a ton of sushi or something like that, or things like that, but parasite cleanse is not really beneficial
something to be concerned about. No.
Right.
But either way, there is that lack of education though about what actually goes into our foods, because I've started to question what food is actually good for us, because you don't know what is going into these foods, and even I'm supporting our local farm, which is fresh, the lot, but you have to question that as well. It's when the cows or something like that are eating the grass, what are they spraying onto that grass?
Yeah, pesticides.
That's what you have to question.
Yeah.
Well,
and
the thing is, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The thing is, I've learned a lot too as well. We've done 2 shows. The first one was on, not 2 shows, but we've done 2 shows based on more food-related options. And the first one was a show on keto, and the second one was on carnivore. And I was really blown away, to be honest with you, because I looked at keto initially and I was like, wow, okay, I could see how this could work. Because number one, staying away from carbs, starch, sugars, and things like that, processed foods. And then a lot of people who are in carnivore, keto, actually kind of cross over into carnivore. And when I first heard about carnivore, I was blown away. I'm like, these people have lost their mind. And then I really started to do some serious digging, and a lot of the people who are who actually, some people were vegetarian, are now carnivore, and they were vegetarian for years. And vegetables actually are very high in starch and carbs too as well.
Right.
And we know that a lot of those things carry and hold inflammation. So when I started to get into carnivore, it was really a deep dive and understanding, that how powerful of a tool that it is, and if you understand and see the results from carnivore, I mean, it's unbelievable, because once
Right.
again, what you're doing is taking somebody showing someone to eat lean meat, quality meat, and they're not eating vegetables and not eating rice, not eating starch and carbs and sugars and things like that, and
Right.
they're focused on that, and their whole body composition changes, everything
Yeah.
there. I mean, even the whole thing with cholesterol, I mean, we've been totally lied to regarding cholesterol. Actually, the higher cholesterol at times, the better. We've been totally lied to on that. There's actually, amazing books called, I forget the book's called, The Cholesterol Myth or The Cholesterol, so on and so forth. There's a ton of studies, and Dr. Anthony Chafee, we work with Dr. I can't remember his name right offhand, but he's one of the biggest cardiologists in the business, who is also a carnivore and a ketovore, and he's very high profile, and this is the cardiologist who will literally tell you that most of the people, I would say the majority of people that he's done heart operations on, had low cholesterol. Not high cholesterol, low cholesterol. So it's just really educating ourselves and understanding, because we know that when you have high cholesterol, they want to put you on a statin. A statin is probably one of the worst drugs you could ever
Oh
take in
yeah.
your life, and
Absolutely.
they're shoving these things down our throat as soon as we have a little bit of elevated cholesterol, and that's actually more dangerous. Those statins are more dangerous than the cholesterol. It's really about changing your lifestyle, right? And we don't talk about that, right? Because doctors aren't trained on nutrition, so a
Right.
doctor can't tell you what to eat and how you should be eating. And a
Right.
lot of these doctors are overweight and out of shape themselves.
Yes.
So you really have to take your life in control, because once again, it's very fragile, and if what we eat is the potential cause for us to have a shorter life, brother, I will eat tree bark, and not worry about taste and all this kind of stuff like that,
Right.
to save my life.
Right. And there's a lot of concerns, a lot of speak of, at least over here in the States, is, what's next? Are we going to start going to eating insects? What else are they going to kind of shine the shiny object to that is healthy or not healthy for you? And I agree with you, James, like Charles, like when I did work in the wellness field, it's not cookie cutter for everyone. And that's what we have to understand. Our lineage, our body chemical makeup, and so forth. You don't have the same body as your father, your uncle, your grandfather. You may have similar traits, but everybody's built differently in some way, shape, or form. And it goes to into the fact of the environment that you are raised in. I mean, going back to the indigenous people, they fed off the land, earth, prayed and was very sacred, gracious, and everything was sacred and everything went full circle. And then we have to kind of figure out what works for us, what doesn't work for us. But the key point that both Adam and Charles has made is being self-aware. Educate yourself, because you could. It's
Yes.
just like today, coffee is great. Tomorrow, coffee can kill you. You know what I mean? And it's really exploring all the options and testing your body. The industry that I worked in before the world had changed, we were, advised to kind of take personal assessments and everything, and drink lots of water, and then, refrain from sugars and everything. Some people, in your circumstance, Charles, lost like 2 pounds per day in like 20 days,
Yeah,
3 down.
yeah.
Other people, it took 2 months. Now, we
Yeah.
only had a limited amount of access of, constant contact with them. Didn't come in their homes, but it was just a dramatic effect to just see the same treatment affects everybody
Yeah,
differently. And we have to be
yeah,
mindful
yeah,
of that, because people are
yeah.
like, oh
No
yeah,
doubt.
I go to, I remember in high school, I used to go down to McDonald's every single day before soccer practice. And I'd have like 3-4 hours of soccer practice and I'd just burn it off.
Yeah,
Do that
yeah,
today? Forget it. I'm on
yeah.
the couch for like
Exactly.
8 hours, just like, oh my gosh. But
Yeah,
when I,
yeah.
I did do
That's why
for
I'm on the
6 months,
peppermint tea.
there you go.
Peppermint
There you
tea.
go.
And I did do for like 3 to 6 months. What I did do was I just had vegetables and it was
Yeah.
amazing. But I tell you, the environment doesn't support that, because there's not a fresh fruit vegetable stand at 10 o'clock at night when you're traveling and going from somewhere. What is there? There's a
True,
McDonald's, a Taco Bell,
true.
and it's just that fast, immediate fix. But that's what we have to be cognizant of.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
go into the distraction now. How did you overcome, or some tactics that you endured with the distractions of this lifestyle adjustment that you had made? Uh, don't know. Sideways?
Are we going sideways?
I guess so.
Oh,
Oh, we lost them. All right, we'll just wait a few seconds. Why are you
okay then.
camouflaged
Same
into
question
your?
to you. Oh, he's gone.
Why are
He's
you
gone.
you're camouflaged into your background?
Am I? See, she always picks on me.
I'm sorry.
Always.
Go ahead. All right, so here we go. There he goes.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Thank you for
I'm
giving me the
sorry.
opportunity to poke it at him. So yeah, so getting back to the question, was going to the second part of the question, was some tips and trades and strategies of avoiding the distractions, and what did you find some of the most difficult distractions, if you will, during your transformation and in this journey that you are enduring right now for a healthy lifestyle?
Well, I would say number one was lack of education, right? Because once again, I didn't know, as a black man living in America, I think by that time I was in my 30s or whatever like
Mm.
that. I didn't know anything about diabetes, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even lack of education as far as working out, right? Because once again, how many times do we go to a gym and see, all these buff guys and they don't do legs, they just do arms and chest and no cardio. And
Right.
so
And the
didn't
creatine
understand.
shakes.
And the creatine shakes, exactly. And so I didn't even really, think about that.
Mhm.
And then of course, and at this point I was actually making cookbooks and stuff like that on health. And I remember drinking diet ginger ale because, or it might have been ginger ale, because I thought it was better for me because it had ginger in it, right? I mean, honestly, I can't make this stuff up. And then, stress is also a cause of
Yes.
type 2 diabetes too, as well. One of
Yes.
the factors of
Yeah.
type 2 diabetes. So, staying up late, working hard, stress, and lack of education. So those were some of the pitfalls. And then, finally realizing after many years that I was addicted to food, and
Mm.
and then looking at that and now addressing that situation and trying to overcome those other pitfalls. So
Mm. Interesting. And I think
Absolutely.
also too, in addition to that, is the proper amount of sleep. A
yeah,
lot of people take that for
Yes,
granted. Oh yeah, I'll
Andrea.
just get that. Yeah. What are they talking to me about? I go to sleep. I get about 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Not
Mm.
you.
Yes, I do.
But sleep is a significant skill
It
that we
is.
take for granted, because it's like, you have some people on the mindset, well, I'm a grown up. I don't have to go have a disciplined sleep schedule and wake up schedule.
Yes, you do.
But it really does affect you. If I'm not
Yes.
getting that certain amount of sleep, forget it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a totally
yeah,
different person. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep is key.
Yeah.
Sleep is key, Andrea.
Yeah, it is key. And eating, because I had the opposite. I'm going through this now, being transparent. It, like I said in the beginning of the show, is I don't eat enough.
Mm.
I will go literally 12 to almost 16 hours not eating because I'm working. But that's not good either because, so now I've kind of disciplined to have my breakfast at a certain time in the morning. Granted, it's not a lot. And then I'll either wait till the afternoon or even wait till the family comes home. And then that's
It
like
doesn't cook.
extreme. This is not a cooking show, and that's extreme amount of time that I'm not eating, but I'm drinking. I'm mixing now in between water and herbal green tea and whatnot. But those are two major components that we don't really look into as part of the addiction because I guess mine would be just working constantly. But again, if you don't have that energy, you don't have those nutrients, and you don't have the proper sleep to do that, you're not going to be effective.
Yeah. Well, I would counteract that too as well with actually applauding you for that because intermittent fasting is very key. That resets the
I
body.
wasn't doing it intentional,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it is.
but
It is what it
I,
is, though.
I actually only eat once a day, and I intermittent fast the rest. And
Okay, so that's what it is,
intermittent
Adam.
fasting, yeah, intermittent fasting literally resets the body and changes the body, right? Because if you're not
Yeah,
taking in carbs, you're not taking in sugars and things like that, it allows the body to heal itself in
yeah.
many ways. So most people who are into a healthy lifestyle actually do a lot of intermittent fasting. I follow a guy, I forget his name now. I don't know, my mind is slipping right now, but and he sold Zell or something like that. And he's Brian Johnson, and
Oh.
he is literally doing this whole longevity and reversing aging thing, and
Mhm.
billionaire guy, and he's spending $2 million a year on reversing his health and
Hmm.
actually doing a biological age where he's reversing his
Yeah.
biological age. And I think his last meal of the day is 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm.
um and it's everything on his plate, as he says, fought its way to get there.
Hmm.
So he will eat some cacao, some chocolate, some black lentils,
Hmm.
and some vegetable stuff. So the rest of the time he is fasting, and
Hmm.
he takes, I think, 100 supplements a day.
Wow.
And he's gone from overweight to almost no body fat per se, very
Hmm.
little body fat, and has reversed his biological age,
Right.
and gets does not disturb his sleep ever. I think that's one of the key things for him, getting 8 hours of sleep. and
Yeah.
and so it's a real powerful tool, intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
So people should actually practice that a lot. You will lose weight
Mm.
too as well,
Yeah.
if done right. So yeah.
Yeah. I usually start around like the first meal I have during the day will be around 9 o'clock in the morning, and then if I'm busy or something happens, I may eat at 3:30. But if I don't do 3:30, then it's 7:30. And then 7:30, by 9 o'clock I'm done with whatever I'm consuming. And then I do my nighttime routine, and then I go to sleep. I aim 10:30, 11 at my best, and then just kind of get that solid straight 8 hours or 9 hours of sleep. And it's been very disciplined. I'm a very, like, if I
Yeah.
put my mind something, nobody's stopping me. And
Yeah.
so now I can tell Adam I was none unbeknownst to me intermittent fasting.
Yeah. And you got to remember too as well, even the whole 3 meals a day thing, that's something that came about much later,
Right.
from
Right.
the Europeans, to be honest with you, because most places in the world, e- even at times, having
Mhm.
one meal a day is very
Yeah.
hard. There's places in the world right now where if you don't catch your food,
Right.
whatever that might be, you might not eat for a day or two,
Right.
right? So we
Right.
have to look back on early times when I mean, it's not easy trying to catch a chicken. It's not easy
Exactly.
trying to catch a dove
No,
or
Right.
things
yeah,
like
I
that.
remember
So
that. Yeah, I remember
Right.
that because at one point I actually did an all liquid diet where I
Mm.
literally had nothing to eat for 24 hours, and the next day I was in a lot of pain. I mean, a
mhm.
lot of pain.
Did you catch the chicken?
No, the rooster.
Yeah, right.
Right. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that I mean, this is really informative. It's really knowing your body and knowing what works for you. But I think
Yes.
one of the key components that I've learned with anything that I do new is patience.
Yeah.
Because patience and perseverance propel towards progress. And a lot of us have that excuse modality, or the holidays are coming. How you expect me to be healthy during the holidays? Or, oh man, I only made 5 days, or I only made 3 days, or I only made 2 days. Well, keep going. It's you don't change overnight. You don't, become a baby, run, and then run. Pardon me, crawl, then run. And we have to give ourselves patience and grace for taking that action. And I think really what's important and key as well is accountability, not only for yourself and responsibility, but having like a good support system that is going to keep you in
Yes.
line and, saying, hey, you know what? It's all right. There's tomorrow. Or let's try having something a little better for lunch, or it's a little bit better for dinner, or whatever the case may be. And I think that's really, the three key points that Charles had brought to, the
I agree.
forefront. Awareness and education is number one. Number two, perseverance, constant, not letting the distractions distract you. And number three, which is the umbrella of everything, is what is your mission? What is your message? Why, what is the reason you are doing this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
I
Definitely.
agree.
So,
I agree.
Mhm. Yes.
Yes. Right.
Okay.
Well, I think we should wrap it up. And
All
thanks for
righty.
coming on, Charles.
oh, my
And
pleasure.
yeah,
Anytime, brother.
you're
Yes, I
most
appreciate
welcome.
it. Yes.
Yeah, keep
Please tune
rocking,
in
and
next. Go on.
also, if my YouTube is Future of Health Network,
All right.
and
Yeah.
people can go on there and check out some of our past shows. We have shows that air on everything from PBS to Discovery, to you name it, and shows on diabetes, on cancer, on many different topics. We have a new one that we're getting ready to shoot in Costa Rica in January on longevity, and then another one we're working on menopause. So
Yes, that is
definitely,
key. That is key. I
yeah,
just learned about
future.
that. Like
That
for
is
Yeah,
all the women out there and the men, if you know your spouse, your girlfriend, your friend, your sister, your mom, your aunt, your uncle, if you and her know your menstrual cycle, pre, post, after, and so forth, it will
yeah,
change your life, not only
yeah.
on a emotional component, but on a nutritional wellness and healthy lifestyle of longevity. Absolutely.
True, true. All
Well,
right,
absolutely.
thank
you guys.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you
All
so much,
righty.
Yeah.
and let's stay in touch.
Of
Absolutely.
course.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All righty.
Please tune
Have a
in next
wonderful
week.
holiday season.
Yeah. Please. Yeah. Absolutely. Please tune in next week as we've got Richard Corfer. He's coming on. Uh,
Kaufman.
whatever. The
Yeah.
title is actually going from dope dealer to hope dealer.
There you
Interesting.
go.
So
Interesting.
yeah, we've got that same time next week.
Excellent.
Peace, peace,
All
peace.
right.
Bye bye.
Peace,
All
love.
right, bye bye.
Ciao.
See you later. Listen to this.